Welcome to Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management by Dynasty Financial Partners and hosted by CEO Shirl Penney.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Maura Creekmore, who is the co-head of Wealth Solutions at BNY Mellon Pershing. Maura, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this topic, or I love your theme, actually. My grandfather was a horse trainer at Monmouth Racetrack for many, many years in the 50s and 60s. So I spent a lot of time at the track.
Well, our racing stable, Team Penny Racing, we didn't talk about this in advance, but we have won some races at Monmouth. So we have something else in common there. And before we jump in, I just want to say thank you to you and all your colleagues at BNY Mellon Pershing for having been a great partner to Dynasty Financial Partners and our whole community for the better part of the last decade or so. So thank you so much for your support of us and frankly, the entire industry. Thank you.
Great, thank you. You're welcome.
All right, let's jump in. You know the rules. We only have 15 minutes to make our way around the virtual track together. I'm going to ask you 8 questions. Each one of those questions represents one of the 8 furlongs that make up a mile around the track. So with that, obviously how we break from the gate matters a lot. So I'm going to ask you what's hopefully a pretty easy softball question to get underway.
And they're off.
Tell us about yourself, your background, and how you came to your current role at BNY Mellon Pershing.
Sure. Well, I'll start with my professional background. I think I'm an anomaly out there. I have only worked at Pershing my entire career. So for 33 years, I have been here, a number of different roles across the organization and throughout that time frame, and have really just experienced really the evolution of our business really firsthand. So great career, love the firm, and excited to see where it's heading.
Wow, that's awesome. Whole career at the same firm. I had only ever worked one place before deciding to become an entrepreneur and starting Dynasty. But you don't see too many people spending over 30 years at one firm. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. Sorry, I just wanted to add in. I didn't talk about my current role. So currently, I'm co-head of Wealth Solutions, and it's really an exciting time for us at Pershing because we've brought together our broker-dealer and RIA businesses as we're seeing the businesses converge in the marketplace. And we're in the middle of that transformation right now and really excited to kind of see where it goes.
And you're co-head with someone that probably many of our listeners would know well, Ben Harrison. He's certainly very well known within the Dynasty community. And if you see him, please tell him I said hello.
I will.
So look, one of the things I know about you is that you are a student of the industry as well. So I want to ask you, as you look out over the next, couple of years, let's say, maybe up to 5 years, what are some things that have you really excited about in the industry right now?
Yeah, thank you. I am probably one of the most optimistic people you will ever meet. So I think I'm really excited about the level of innovation that our industry is seeing right now. And, I wouldn't always say that about financial services. We were probably, the last business to really get into innovation. And really what we're seeing is that investor is really driving the need for innovation and a really quick pace. So that's exciting. We're seeing digitization of our entire business. The pandemic really helped kind of spearhead that initiative. And that's really creating and reducing the amount of paperwork and steps and processes, making everyone much, much more efficient. And then, we're also seeing firms really expand their capability set to go from, serving, very wealthy clients down to emerging clients. And by introducing digital solutions like, digital investing, it really enables that emerging investor to have the same level playing field as someone who's got, $10 million. So really, I'm excited about the ability for everyone to be able to save for their financial future.
That's great. I totally agree. So much of our industry now is being client-led, which is great. That means we as an industry set are continuing to listen to our clients, and seems like the whole world is going digital. So thanks for that. Now I know you said you're an optimist, and I am too, but I do want to reverse the question. If you look out over that same time frame, what are some things that perhaps maybe concern you about our industry?
Yeah, it's the things that get me up at 3 a.m. every day, actually. So, our industry has really always had its challenges, from regulatory reform to, compressed margins, market fluctuation, but we're always really resilient, right? And we've always just bounced right back. But now I see all of those things coupled with, supply chain issues, inflation, the war in Ukraine, which could absolutely lead to worldwide, food insecurities. And I just see all of these things converging, and that really has me concerned about the impact it's going to have on our business longer term. So that definitely is something I worry about.
Got it. Thanks for that. All things that I think everyone within our industry at some point worried about. Maura, one of the things I like about the position that you're in now is you have the ability to work with not only some of the best RIAs, but you also work with trust companies and banks and large scale independent broker dealers. I mean, you work with all of these great businesses, and I'd like to ask you, as you look at kind of that portfolio of clients, and you think about a number of those businesses that are maybe doing, let's say, a little bit better. What are some of the businesses from a practice management perspective doing that you might highlight to execute really well in this environment?
Yeah, so you're right, Shirl. We do work with some of the best and brightest wealth management firms in the industry, and I really like to say that they're visionaries. They're always looking to the future, and they're always transforming, right? They're never sitting still, and they've built businesses that are able to sustain the impact of change coming at them at a really fast pace. So, when I look at firms and the why behind their success, you see firms that have really diversified their product offering in a way to really attract new advisors and new investors. And they're very agile about their approach, and not just from a tech development agile perspective, but they're agile in their whole business methodology, right? So from sales to marketing to operations, they're just moving fast, they're sprinting, and everyone's doing really hard to keep up with these really amazing growth firms. So I think those are the firms that are really doing much better than others, and they're delivering a very personalized experience to their clients. And that is also something that's really differentiating them in the marketplace.
Well, look, it certainly seems like it's a bull market for financial advice, and the firms that are providing it. We're at a moment in time where there's more demand in terms of wealth creation, and unfortunately fewer and fewer advisors to deliver it. So the macro demographic trend and opportunity is substantial for our business. You mentioned technology and tech development with some of the clients, but asking you more specifically to BNY Mellon Pershing, I know that tech enablement and tech investing is a huge focus for you and the organization in terms of how you want to leverage technology to further empower your clients. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mentioned earlier that, investors are really demanding that personalization and simplification. And that means that technology needs to be really easy to use and needs to be able to enable them to have that same experience in their financial lives as they do with their everyday lives. And I was reading a Cerulli report recently that was fascinating. It said that advisors spend only 20% of their time talking with clients, and the other 80% is spent on operations and service related issues. So I'm really looking forward to the time where we can flip that script and have our advisors spend more time with their clients, because they're more efficient and because of all these technologies that really come together and talk with one another. And you mentioned what Pershing's doing. The platform that we're building, Pershing X, is designed to give advisors more time in their day to spend with clients. So that's important. Ease of use, I mentioned that, critical. Firms that are really embracing that e-delivery, e-signature, real-time payments, that's also making a big advancement. And finally, I think advisors from a technology or data perspective really need data to provide them with actionable insights so that they can really provide that custom level of service to their clients. And it's also going to enable them to free up time to be more efficient. So data is also really critical to help them differentiate from the competition.
Yeah. So as you were saying, leaning in on your partners, whether it's Pershing or leaning in, on Dynasty, outsourcing more in that middle and back office. You talked a lot there, more about freeing up time to be with clients. But when you free up time, it also gives you time to go get new clients and to grow. And I know that you've spent a lot of your career, really, in the trenches and working with your clients to help them think through organic growth strategies. What are some things that you're seeing, again, your clients doing really to accelerate organic growth?
Yeah, so I think organic growth comes in a few different flavors. And, the two that are most prominent clearly are what you said. It's winning new clients and then increasing the share of wallet from your existing clients. And to win new clients, what we're seeing are firms that are very creative at cultivating referrals from their existing clients. They're working with colleagues in different industries, really executing really cool and diverse marketing strategies. And that's great. So those are really two good aspects of organic growth. But it's also having the right solution set to meet the needs of your current and your future clients. And that's how you're going to get more of their market share, right? So you need to continue to look for solutions that solves a big problem for them. And we spend a lot of time at Pershing looking across the BNY Mellon enterprise to deliver a new set of solutions for our clients, whether it's lending or mortgages or investment management. But you really have to have that broad set of capabilities in order to attract new clients and new assets. But finally, I think it's really critical that you focus on your talent, because if you don't have a strong team, you're not going to create and provide that level of service that you need to help attract new assets from your existing clients. Because if they're not getting good service, they're going to go somewhere else. So you need to be able to attract and retain that diverse talent in order to kind of get that next dollar, that next asset. So those are really critical ways that we're seeing firms drive organic growth.
Great, thank you for that. Now, look, we're turning for home now, headed towards the finish line. So,
Am I winning? Am I winning?
I think we're about to win. You're in the
Okay.
lead, right? But let's make sure we stay there. So,
okay.
There are a lot of listeners that are also leaders. Obviously, you lead a large team and have been a leader throughout your career. Some of the listeners, though, are moving into leadership positions perhaps for the first time, or maybe they've launched a new firm and they're now moving from advisor to CEO and really sitting kind of in that key decision maker seat, perhaps for the first time in their career. So let me ask you really a practice management question. Any words of wisdom, maybe from mentors over the years, or how you approach philosophically, your leadership style, things that you might share with others?
Sure. So when I think of my own style, that's a really interesting question, because it's very hard to self-reflect, like what kind of a leader are you? But what I really try to do is be very inclusive. I seek out others' opinions. I ask a lot of questions, and I make sure that people feel that their voice matters. I try to be very empathetic, and I'm sometimes brutally honest. But once I make a decision after listening to everyone's input, I'm very decisive and I make decisions very quickly. So that's kind of part of my style. I think it drives some of my other colleagues crazy that I don't want to listen all day. Like I want to get to a conclusion really, really fast. And I think I'm also very passionate about our culture, which is why I've been here for 33 years. I wouldn't be if I didn't really care about it. And so I spend a lot of my time working with new employees and folks that really don't understand the why behind BNY Mellon Pershing. So really care about our culture. And if I have to think of, I've had so many great, mentors and others give me good advice, and I have a lot of them. But I guess, just sticking to the being decisive, like if you make a mistake, own it and apologize fast, right? And I think that goes to the whole accountability and ownership. That's a key trait of BNY Mellon's, is really to take ownership. And Robin Vince, the CEO-elect, always says, act like an owner. So whether it's a little function that you're responsible for, an entire business line, act like an owner, and that will make a difference in our outcome.
Act like an owner. I love it. I also really like the fact that you mentioned a number of mentors. And I always like to tell people, I believe in mentorship by committee, because you get, so many different perspectives. So that's great. So look, I always like, as a wrap-up question, I like to ask, guests on the show, a question about the future, right? And about goals. And look, we're taping this conversation in the middle of the Triple Crown, where the horses and the owners and trainers and the owners and all their friends and families, they're all gearing up for kind of the big goal within the racing industry, is the dream around winning the Triple Crown, right? Winning the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. It's almost an unattainable goal, but everyone really, focuses on it and runs hard towards it. So I'd like to conclude our conversation by asking you, what is your Triple Crown? What is that goal that's sitting out there that's a kind of that ultimate stretch goal that you're running towards?
We have a big transformation happening, and we are delivering an investment grade experience for our clients. So my Triple Crown would be landing a 10 on that.
That's awesome. Well, Maura, look, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. And thank you to all of you for joining us again on another edition of Around the Track.